Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to configure Amazon RDS PostgreSQL data migration and also change data capture, that is CDC, to a Amazon S3 bucket with using AWS DMS service, that is a AWS data migration service. As you see in this screen or in this PPT, this is my, the design diagram which explains my demo. As usual in my normal videos, I'm going to explain my demo into two parts. The first part, I will cover up, how does this design setup is been done and how does it works. Yeah. And in the next part, I'm going to show you how we can configure these components, connect together, and finally see the required aim of the demo, right? Or finally, I will show you, how does this workflow works. Yeah. So basically, these are the two parts that I'm going to show you in the next, coming next in the coming minutes. Before I walk you through the first part of demo, that is explaining the complete this design of this demo, I can request please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. So with that note, let's directly jump to the first part where I'm going to explain how does this scenario is been designed. Yeah. So here, as you see in this screen, we have a VPC, right? And in that VPC, we have hosted Amazon RDS, especially PostgreSQL, right? And also we have created a AWS data migration service instance, right? And also we have a Amazon S3 which is encapsulated with the VPC endpoint, right? So basically the migration operation happens within the VPC only, nothing but the data that you are extracting from the Amazon RDS PostgreSQL and putting into Amazon S3 bucket. Basically this migration process is happening within the backbone network of Amazon, right? So in this case, your migration data does not flows over the internet. Okay, so that's the reason we are achieving the migration security here, right? So the flow is something like this. Okay, what I do is here I'm gonna set up Amazon RDS. I have already set up the Amazon RDS because creating this Amazon RDS is a bit time consuming, right? And also have set up AWS DMS as well. I'm gonna explain you like how these setup can be done, right? And also we have the destination, here is Amazon S3 bucket. Okay, so here what we see is how we can configure or connect this Amazon RDS as a source and Amazon S3 as a two targets. One is a source and one is a source of the data, that is Amazon RDS. The other one is Amazon S3 bucket, that is a destination. Yeah. So how we can create these these connections from AWS AWS endpoints, AWS DMS endpoints, right? And finally we see how we can create a task, one task which is meant for completely copying the Amazon RDS database schemas directly into the Amazon S3 bucket in a folder structure and in the form of CSV export, right? So first task is to how we can achieve the DB migration. Then we can also create a one more task in the AWS DMS which will actually focus on the change data capture loading, in the sense, so once we have lift and shifted the the data migration, that is a database schemas, it will come and sit under the folder structure of Amazon S3 bucket. Then from that point of time, the business operations that is happens on the Amazon RDS, right? Like it could be insert the rows, insert the new rows into the table, update the new rows into the table, right? So those are all the changes that happens on the table post DB migration. Okay, so those changes we have to capture explicitly and put it across into the Amazon S3 bucket with using an independent task underneath AWS DMS called DB change data capture. Yeah. All right. So basically, I will show you these these two scenarios explicitly in this video. Yeah. Post that I will also show you how these this scenario works at the real time. Yeah. All right. So with that note, let's directly jump to my AWS account. So this is my AWS account. Let me go back to the first. So as you see in this browser, I'm in Google Chrome, right? I have opened my AWS account and currently I'm in my my accounts Amazon RDS page. And in this one, this is the tab which holds Amazon RDS service page actually. And there is another side by tab I have already opened, and this contains AWS DMS service page. Similarly, I have another tab which I opened, that is AWS S3 bucket, right? And finally I have IAM console, that is IAM IAM role as well. I have opened the IAM service page of my AWS account. Okay, so basically why I'm making you walk you through these tabs is, so that you should not feel, maybe confused. All these tabs are belongs to my account, and I belongs to the Mumbai region. Okay, so currently I'm in a Mumbai region. Yeah, all right. So in this demo, first one, we need to set up a Amazon RDS. So let's consider a business scenario where you already have a Amazon RDS which is been consumed by your application, and there is a schema, and the schema is hosting couple of, or like a huge list of databases. Okay, so I have already mimicking those scenarios. Like think like, you have a database, that is, Amazon RDS database instance. Then you have a schema. Under the schema you have multiple tables. Okay, and which is meant for your application. Those table you are planning to migrate to the a data warehouse. Okay, for any kind of reporting, analytics, right, any kind of monitoring purpose. Okay, so that data you want to capture. Okay, so in that scenario, this is the video which is dedicated, to help you to achieve that destination, to achieve that particular project, you can say. Yeah, also, so the migrating the Amazon RDS to Amazon Redshift, so to the Amazon Redshift cluster, just to migrating the schema or migrating a one table is easy, right? But if you want to monitor, or if you want to capture the change data, for example, if you want to capture the change data, and finally you want to build a pipeline which will do the which will actually capture the change data, and also simultaneously approach synchronizes in the at the other side, that is a Redshift cluster, then in that case, this is the first part that you need to achieve first. Then from this Amazon S3 bucket, maybe you can again further pipeline with using AWS Glue and upload into the Amazon Redshift cluster. So that I'm going to explain you in the next part of the video. This is the first part of that. Yeah, since the video, since the pipeline is very big, that's the reason I have first created this video as a first one. Yeah, all right. So I will go back to the my databases. This is my Amazon RDS. Right, so here, as I said, we have created a PostgreSQL, right? So I'm going to show you how did I create the PostgreSQL. So I will just open it for your for your information, but I'm going to show you how did I do, what are the changes I did in this in this RDS database cluster. Okay, so I will just go back to the database. How did I create this? I just click on the button create a database, right? And in this one, we're going to provide the required input that it will ask. For example, here I have chosen standard create, right? In after that we have chosen the PostgreSQL. I will just go back to the PostgreSQL, right? And then in this one we have chosen the Amazon 13 by default 13 R1. Yeah, since this is a demo part, I don't want to be a consumer or burn lots of dollar. That's the reason I'm choosing dev test one, right? And after that I have given the the database name here. I will go down, and then the credentials. Okay, so I have given my credentials. This is my user, and the password I have created for this demo is I have taken in a notepad. I will show you that notepad as well. So this is my password I have created, right? And that's the password I have put in here in the master password and the confirm password option, tab option. And then we have given, so instance configurations. So this one I have kept it standard classes, that is DB-M6G large, right? And after that, storage I have kept as a SSD 200, something like that. Rest all I kept it default, okay? And in the connectivity side, I have chosen the default VPC, and the default subnet belongs to this Mumbai region. Public access, yes, I made public access equal to S because I needed access to this RDS database instance so that I can create a table. I'm going to show you. I'm using this tool, that is PG admin, that is a Postgres SQL client through which you can connect to your RDS. If you have a public access, then you can connect it from the laptop, because my laptop is internet. Right, to connect from the internet you need to enable the public access. Henceforth I have enabled public access my RDS cluster, that is hosting Postgres database instance, right? And then I am choosing the security group, which is a default security group, and it allows all inbound access for now, right? Since this is a development and just for demo purpose, I'm just keeping it very lenient configurations. Okay, rest all I have kept it normal, and I click on the button create. Okay, so it will take nearby 4 to 5 minutes, and finally you will have a table, or you will have a database instance, right? Something like this. So in this one I have created a database instance with a name like cloudquicklabs, which is my channel name. In this one you see the security connectivity configurations, right? You see this is the endpoint. Okay, so you would have the doubts like how do you create connected to this RDS instance with using PG admin client, right? So you need to you need to copy this endpoint, go here and connect, right? You can connect from here, something like this. You can click a right click, then you can make a server connection from here, right? Click on this one, right? I will just do one more time for you. So just click on the server connection, right? So basically, it will, so here you can give the friendly name, something like test, right? So just give it like test. And then in the connections, so this is the place where you put that endpoint data, for example, right? For example, this is the endpoint of your, your cluster, right? Because it has a public access, right? You see the public access equal to yes. That's the reason you can connect it from the client. Okay, so you just put it here, and then the port number is 5432, right? Then this is the username, and the password is something password which we created during the cluster. And click on save, then automatically it will end up with, or it will, so it will, so okay, so let me cancel this one. So it will come, it will take you to this page. You see, this is the page. If I can refresh this, right? Basically, I'm just refreshing the connection. And after that, you see the databases. Under the database, I have created a database name like cloudquicklabs during the DB instance creation time itself, right? And finally, I have the schemas. In the schemas, currently I'm using public schema, right? So under the public schema, I have the options like tables. So in that table, I have created 4 tables. I'm going to show. So these tables, we need to move from this RDS PostgreSQL database to the S3 bucket, which is the initial part of your ETL, right? That's the reason, this is the setup is all about, yeah. Okay, so that's the brief about how you can, connect to the internet when you have a public access. And here is my VPC subnet, and this is the security group. Okay, in this security group, I have enabled all ports. Okay, so I will also go take you to there, so that you are clear about the configurations. Okay, so there is one more very important configurations if you want to use CDC. That is a change data capture option on your RDS EC2 instance. Okay, or RDS database instance. Okay, all right. So now let's see what I have allowed in the inbound and outbound. So if you see, I have allowed all traffics in the inbound, which is basically not secure, but since this is a demo, I'm just keeping it very wide. Okay, and you see this is the one, yeah. All right. So that's about the security configurations, or security group configurations of my RDS instance. Now we will go back to the another configuration. So where you need to update the parameter group. Okay, so since you need to capture the CDC, or you need to do the change data capture, you need to create a parameter group. So for this case, I have created a parameter group, something like this. You can let me show you how you can create. So here in the parameter group, you need to choose the your RDS instance family. So since my RDS instance family is Postgres 13, I have chosen this one. Then the target type is parameter groups. Then I have given something like test, right? For example, let me create a parameter group, something like test demo parameter group. Then I will call it as a test, right? And then click on the button like create. Yeah, once you create, you will have the a custom created parameter group like test demo. In this one, you need to go back to the you need to go back here, and you need to update the parameter, and the parameter name is something like this, that is rds.logical replica. So without this configuration, logical replication does not happen. This configuration is very, very important to capture the CDC, or to capture the change data, something like this. Okay, so if you go here, you click on edit parameter, you need to keep this value, that is rds.logical_replication value to to 1. Okay, if you directly try to update the default parameters from the RDS, it will not have that change configuration done, right? Basically, this is how you need to do, right? So you will be creating a custom parameter groups, and you will be making the changes of this parameter, something suggested, so that is rds.logical parameter name has to be 1. Okay, then only it will start to capture the CDC. All right, so once you have this group ready, now it is time to change it. Okay, so maybe you need to I will go back to, so once you have this custom group, you need to attach that custom group to your database. So how do you do that? You can do that from here. So I will go back here, right? And then you go to the modify, click on the modify, choose your database, click on modify, right? Once in the modify, you can change the parameter group. So that's where I'm coming now. So I will go back down. You can see down there is a group, right? So if I can go down again, right? So here is, so there is a database options. Okay, in this one you can choose the RDS replica test demo. So just now we created a test demo. If I select it, I need to do a reboot and a save as well. So that will consume my time. So, but you need to select that and click on continue. All right, for now I'm canceling. And after that, once you attach your custom database parameters group, you need to do your you need to do this database instance reboot one time. How do you do that? Click this one. How do you do the reboot is just just select this particular database, come here and do a reboot. Okay, so reboot is very mandatory to attach a custom parameter groups to your RDS instance. Okay, so I will go to the configurations now. In the configurations, right, if I go here, so here you see we have attached the parameter groups and it should be in sync. Okay, then only the CDC capture on your database instance gets started. Okay, alright, this is a very important part of the demo. Make sure that you are making this configured, right? All right. Okay, now so we are done with the from the RDS side. I have shown you how to create a database in the RDS of layer PostgreSQL, how to connect from a client like PZ admin 4 and configure and create a table. Okay, so how did I create a table? I have the queries something like this. I will share this SQL page in the SQL command page in my videos description. I will upload this file into my GitHub repo, and the GitHub repo link will be shared in videos description. You can find this file from my videos description link. Okay. All right. So first one, I created my table something like this. Yeah. And then I have inserted these values into the one. So how did I execute is something here. So if you go to the schema, you point to your schema. So once you open your database, so this is your database. Under this one, you are using schema. That's a public schema. Once you are selected that, just come here and there is an option like, if you see, this is the query tool, right? So once you open that query tool, write your queries to create a table, insert a table, right? So something like that I did. Okay, so if I need to continue. This is a refreshment. All right, here you go, right? So it is basically extracting the data present on my table name called employees. Okay, so basically these are the data. Yeah. All right, so this is how I dealt with the this is how I created, this is how I maintain the configurations on the Amazon RDS. Now we are good at the first part. Now let's go to the AWS DMS, which is a core part of the demo, which is actually doing the extraction, transformation, which is actually zero transformation, but basically doing the and load, extract and loading. It's actually doing extract and loading, and a bit of a transformation as well. Okay. All right. So transformation says it is converting from this table to CS, right? That's the transformation. Yeah. All right. So I will go to the. So this is our RDS ready. Now let's go to the in the AWS DMS side. Here what we do is we need to do multiple configurations here. I'm going to walk you through the configurations that you need to maintain one after the other. First one, we need to create a subnet group, right? So for that case, what you can do is you can go to the in the AWS DMS page, and you should be in the same region as your RDS. Okay, that's a very important point. Since this is my AWS account, which is as same as my RDS account, as same as my RDS instance is sitting. And currently I'm in a Mumbai region. My RDS instance is also in the Mumbai region. So don't get confused. And here, I went and created a subnet group under AWS DMS service. I click on the subnet, create subnet, give the name something like this, and just give the description. Choose the VPC. Since I have choosing the default VPC, I selected this. And then you're going to select the subnets, right? So I selected all the subnets because I want to keep it highly available. And that's all. Click on the button, create subnets. You will have you will have this subnet group being created. Okay, so this is the first step, right? And after that, we need to create a second step. Now I will go back to the second step that you need to follow in the AWS DMS. That is creating a replication instance. Okay, so once you have the subnet group, let's use our subnet group and create a replication instance. What is a replication instance? Okay, this is the machine which sits in between your RDS and S3 bucket, or it could be a Redshift in the future, and does the extraction from the RDS and uploads into the S3 bucket. Okay, that's what this machine's job is. Basically, under the hood, it is creating a EC2 instance as well. So here, you will give some dummy names or some good names which describes your job, and then you will give some ARN friendly names, right? And then start description like test. right? You will choose the right instance class. So based on your database load, based on, you think like, this much processing it needs. Maybe you can go to the and explore the DMS processing pricing as well, which is very important before you set up it. It's a bit costly, I can say, right? So take care of your cost when you are, designing this solution. And then you select the engine version, which is the latest one, that is 3.4.7. Right? And after that, allocated storage is 50 GB. Then you will choose the VPC, this one. Then multi-AZ, something if you'd like to, or if you don't like, if it is a development and test, you can use it, right? And finally, in the advanced network security configuration, you can choose the subnet group, which we created just now, right? In the availability zone, so since this is a very dev and test, that's the reason I didn't choose the availability zones, but you can choose it. Then the security groups, default KMS, okay? Everything. So once you select all the defaults, maybe you can go ahead and create it, which will bring you here, where, so this is the instance, okay? So once all configurations are being completed, you can see a migration instance up and running fine. You should see the status equal to available. Then you can think it like, yes, it is ready, yeah? All right, and also make sure that, it is using public IP address for your information. Without public IP address, I think DMS migration service may not be, working, but basically this is how it is, yeah? And you have the CloudWatch metrics as well, where the CloudWatch metrics will be captured, right? And you have the migration tasks underneath this one, so I will just drag down so that you can visualize it. Right, basically it is loading. You see there is the CPU, RAM, right? So there is a spike whenever I started the process, and right now it is in a stable state memory, right? And you can see the monitoring of your EC2 instance as well. That is a migration instance, okay, or replication instance. In the migration task, right now I have created one task, that is to copy. I will explain the next moment, okay? So basically these are the configurations you will see here. Now we go to the endpoints, okay? So endpoint, what is the endpoint here in the AWS DMS, okay? So endpoint is, let me explain with the diagram. So endpoint in the sense, so let's say this is AWS DMS is a standalone service. Its endpoint is in the left side, this is one endpoint. In the right side, it has, another endpoint, okay? So if you are coming from right to left, then this becomes a source, and in the right side, it will become a destination. In the left, it is a source. In the right, it is a destination, right? So it supports certain services as a source service, and also it supports certain services as a destination service, okay? And that's the reason, that's the reason. So the endpoint, okay? So the endpoint under AWS DMS is meant to create the target and the source and the target configurations, okay? So basically whatever see this arrow, so that is a source to DMS configuration, that's a source endpoint configuration. Then the another arrow which you see from DMS to S3, that's a target DMS configuration or a target endpoints, right? Okay, I will go to the back to the DMS. So in the DMS right now I have created, if you see endpoint, so right now we have created only two endpoints right now. You see the type is source and type is target. How did I create source and target? I will going to explain you here. I will go to the create. In this one, you have the endpoint types either source or target equal to endpoint, okay? Target endpoint. So currently let's say we are configuring the source. In the source, we have the RDS instance, okay? So you can just click on this one. You will have the source been configured, right? So once you select the RDS, it will list all the RDS instance sitting in this Mumbai region or the region where you have created a DMS. Right after that, endpoint identifier, you can give these names. Then you will give some friendly ARN like test A, test 1, right? Something like this. Source engine is PostgreSQL, it will automatically identify. And AWS secret manager, for example, when you create a RDS, maybe you will be storing these user ID and password in a secret manager. Maybe you can if you are using so, then you can directly keep the secret ID and the role to extract the secret, or else you have another options to provide the information of secrets directly. That is, this is a server name, this is a port name, this is the username and password. That's a hard coding into this endpoints, okay? So both ways fine. Maybe this is bit insecure, and that is very, that using the secret manager is very secure, right? Rest all SSL you will keep it none. Database you will gonna select the database which you see here. That is a cloudquicklabs or nothing but database that you created in a RDS, right? In the RDS PostgreSQL, right? Okay. In the endpoints, so you will just keep the endpoints, And here, you're gonna add one of the rule here. So I will just go here, something like this. So new settings, endpoints. Okay, so let it be wizard. Adding the settings. Fine. This is not required. So in the KMS, not required, right? And then this is not required. So everything rest all you can keep it default, right? Yeah. So once you have all the configuration selected, just click on button, create endpoint, which actually creates a source endpoint for you. If I expand this one, you can see the configurations. Okay, so you see that I have given same, right? You see, right? The status is active, none, right? Server name is this one, port is this one, database is this one, username is this one, right? And this is the KR, right? Then you have the connections. Okay, schemas, yeah, endpoint settings, right? So this is my server name. So these are the endpoint settings and all. All right. So basically, this is how you create a endpoint for the source. That is a RDS here, right? Now we go to the other side. That is a target. That is a S3 bucket. Okay. So how do you do that? You click on this one, select the targets, right? In the target. So here in the target also you can choose either RDS as well, right? You see there is an option to choose RDS, but that's fine, right? So basically that's fine. What we do is now in this one we have the S3 bucket, right? So I will just, you can just give the provide data like endpoint identifier like test, something like this. Then the friendly ARN, that is something like A.1, right? Target engine, so you need to select the target engine. Here is the S3 bucket, right? So here it supports couple of target engine. One is the MySQL, Postgres, DynamoDB, Neptune, Kinesis, Redshift. Okay, it also supports the Redshift, right? So you can use the Redshift. Maybe in the next video, I'm gonna directly show how you can use Redshift for this purpose. Okay, all right. So this is RDS, right? And then you have the KMS key tags, etc., right? Okay, so here we're gonna choose S3 because we need S3 here. In S3 because we are pulling from the RDS and putting into S3 bucket. Then here you need to go a role. So that's where I have open IAM service, right? So this is the place where you need to have a role which has a access on the S3 bucket, right? Maybe you can give full access on a S3 bucket with a trust relationship to the DMS service. Okay, if you go to the trust one, you must add this one. Okay, that is DMS Amazon.com should be a trusted entity on this role with the permissions on the S3 bucket. Okay, that's the role. And for this role, you just copy this ARN, right? Come back to the in the service role ARN and copy paste the ARN here, right? And then the bucket name, you need to give the bucket name. So in my case, this is my bucket name. I will go back to the another page, that is a S3 bucket page. Okay, so this is my same account where I have hosted RDS and DMS service, and this is my bucket. Okay, I just copy pasted this bucket, right? I will go here and copy paste then the folder name. Okay, so maybe you need to divide into folders. That folder structure also you can give it automatically, right? And then in the endpoint settings, you see, so here is the new endpoint settings, right? Add the settings. Maybe you can add settings if you require, or else just remove it off, right? In the tags, you can add the tags, right? In the test connection. So this is the place wherever you are making the endpoints connection, you can do a testing here, right? And then and finally you can click on the button create endpoint, so it will create an endpoint for you. So right now I have already pre-created, so just open this one. You see, right? So this is what I have done. Okay, and table structure, you see this is the table structure it is giving. Endpoint settings, you see this is my role. This is, so maybe this you can configure as an infrastructure as a code as well, right? All right, so this is our endpoints, 2 endpoints we have configured. Okay, now we are good in the sense what we did is we created a subnet group, we created a replication instance, we created 2 endpoints. Now it is time to use it. What is that? We can, that is, we need to map these source and source and target, and do the DB migration and also do the CDC. Okay, so in this case what I did is I have created a task which does the which does actually migration, which does the database migration. I will go to the migration. So this is a migration task. Okay, how did I do this? I will just go and click create a task. Let's give some dummy name, a friendly ARN, something like A-B-C, something like this. Replication instance, this is my replication instance, which is nothing but the replication instance we created here, right? I will go next. In this one, source endpoint. So source endpoint in the sense replication, sorry, the endpoints which we created, this is a source, and the target is this one, right? And migrate is nothing but, you see in the migration type you have 3 types. One is a migrate existing data. So migrate existing data is nothing but what it is. It is something like a very static. Whatever the whatever the database that you created here, and at the point of time, whatever the data present in this one, at the point of time when you trigger this task, and whatever data present in these tables will be migrated to the S3 bucket. Okay, that is what migrate existing data means. And there is a hybrid version of this one, that is a migrate and replicate. Replicate data change only, in the sense this is a CDC, that is a change data capture operations will be done by this one. Okay, so right now I have created this one, right? And then you have the wizard, right? Then you have the table, so maybe you can leave these configurations as it is, as same as. And here comes a table mappings. In the table mappings, you just click on a selection rule, right? Just click on a selection rule, and here you can choose a schemas, right? And then a schema name, so something like this. So in this RDS, in this RDS instance, the schema type is, or in this RDS database, this is my database, and in this one schema is public, right? The name is public. You just need to copy paste or write that public word here, right? That's what I did. And then here is a schema table name. So maybe if you want to if you want to capture all the tables in this scenario, I have 4 tables, right? So so what I did is, if I want to copy all those 4 tables, I just kept it percentage, which means that include all. Yeah. All right. So then finally you are done. Okay. Finally, if you would like to add some transformation rule, you can add it here. Yeah. For example, like adding something like a rule target, table, schema, column, something. If you want to do, you can do it in the DMS as well, right? And finally, I'm going to create a one more dedicated video for which also includes not only the extraction, transformation as well, and finally upload it. Okay, that will you can expect in a new videos. Right. Finally, just click on create. You have the task something like this. So I will go back to the migration task, and this is the task which we created. Okay, so this task is already successfully gone, and it has done its job. That's when you see the load complete. Okay, in the sense it completed. Okay, so once the progress equal to 100%, if you go back to your destination S3 bucket, in this one you see the folder structure has been created now. I'll go to this one. So this is the subpath I have given in the target endpoint definition, and this is my folder structure. And then starts the schema. So this is the schema, right? Under the schema public, you had a 3 table, and that's the 3 table are table names are converted into folder name, right? Remember this. This is my table name. This is a table 2, 3, 4, and employees is the table, right? If I go back to the table list, you see this is the table 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So those table name will be converted into the folder name here. Under this folder name, you have a 11 CSV file, which is a nothing but export of this complete table. Yeah. All right. So if your table is too bulky, maybe this file will also become a bulky. All right. Similarly, if you go to the other tables, right? Other tables, you will find all CSVs. Right. So if I open maybe if I open one example, right? I have downloaded that file. So I will go back to the downloads. So here is the download. So I have just did a download somewhere here. So what I do is I'm going to show you that it contains a columns. Okay. So for this case, I will just download this one, this guy. Yeah. Let me download this. Right. And we'll go to the download folder of mine. So you see, I just now downloaded it. Right. So I'm just open it in a Notepad++. And there we see what it contains actually, right? So I will just see and what it contains. Okay, basically basically it contains the rows being inserted into the table. Yeah. All right, so maybe maybe I will just walk you through the here. So yeah, so this is the table. What is the table we are downloaded, right? So if I go back to the one, right, so this is the table. So this is the table name, that is this one, right? I will just copy here, and I will go back to this one, and here, right? And you just run this query. Okay, so if you run this query, yes, continue, and yeah, so here you go. It contains only value 1, 2, 3 in the column name, something like this. Okay, and that's what I'm going to show you here. So I will just load it again. Right, basically it is taking time. So if you open this in the Notepad++, this is a CSV file, but I'm opening in a Notepad++. You see value 1, 2, 3 are been uploaded from this one. Okay, so basically what happened is this load process has done its job. That is, it has migrated the complete schema of the of your database into the Amazon S3 bucket. Okay, so then you are ready. In the sense, you have done your job, right? So basically it is doing a upload. Okay. All right. So this is the one type of task we did. Now let's go and check the another type, that is a CDC. How does it captures the CDC? Okay. So basically for that case, what we do is we need to create a one more task. I'm going to show you like how we can create that task right now. So let's call it as a capture CDC. So let me give us a capture CDC, right? So capture CDC, then let me give us a test CDC demo, right? And then replica instances. This is my replica instance. I will go to the source is this one. Target is the C in my S3 bucket, and here is the only change. Okay, that is a replica data change only, right? And finally, in this task setting edit mode wizard, I will keep all those default, right? And I'm going to go to the table mapping. In this one I have to add one rule, okay, one generic rule. So in this one I'm gonna enter a schema. I will choose the enter a schema. In this one, as I said, we will create a public. In this one I need all the table CDC to be under CDC, and since I have enabled the CDC on the database instance, so CDC should be captured now. Okay, so I will go include all, right? And the transformation rule, I'm not adding any transformation rule, but I'm keeping these configuration in the next video, right? And permission assignment, I will just keep it normal automatically, right? All right, so I will just create a task. That's all. It is very simple. Basically so currently when it is creating task, it's actually running. Okay, so what we do is, what I show is, I will go back to the employee table right now. Employee table. So the employee table has uploaded only one file, so we expect that to be uploaded. So if I go back to the employee, right, and I will just execute this query. So basically it contains 3 rows, but during the migration it has chosen only, it has configured, it has exported only one row. So that has to be captured. In the sense, currently when I run my first task, that is migrate table task, it has exported only one row, but after that task I have added certain values to this employee, right? And that now has to be presented as a CDC, and it should capture under employees. That's my aim. Okay, so let's see if that happens. I'm refreshing it. Currently it is ready. Let's go if it has done its job. So if we go to the public and let's go to the employee, right? Open the employee. So CDC load it. Yeah. So what I do is I'm gonna run it again. So currently it is ready. It has not yet captured. So it is starting the migration task. Okay. Basically it has not yet done. If you see, it is still in progress. If you see, there are 2 tasks happening here. 2 tasks are happening here. One is basically it is creating a migration task with the type called replication ongoing changes, and once the task is created, it is executing it by default. Okay, that's what we chosen while running. Okay, so we need to wait until replication ongoing. You see it has identified some changes, right? So basically what I did is, in all these table I made only this table change. Why I did it? I expect the CDC to be captured on this table only, whereas the rest all tables will remain same. Okay, so this table has 3 rows, and if I go to the other tables, okay, so for example this table, it has only 1 rows, okay, which is existed before as well, and I didn't made any changes. Okay, so this one, run it, it has 1 row, right? Maybe I will go to the next table, that is 2, run it, you have 1 row. Then I will go to the third table, then you have 3. Okay, so basically out of 4 tables which I present in this public schema, I made implies only changes. Okay, and I expect this table to be replicated under the CDC, right? So if you see, the process is 100% here. I'm expect it to be in a complete set, then only I can go ahead and show you there what happened. Okay, if we go back and refresh here, so basically it should be loaded in this one. Okay, let's wait it to complete, then we'll see. Okay, so basically it is replication ongoing. So if you see, its replication is ongoing. Maybe what I do is I will refresh it and check if some other files are being created. Basically what happens is it creates a new file. Okay, it's basically creates a new file under those paths, right? Okay, so let's go to the this one. Yeah, this is the employees. Yeah, I need to go back to the DMS. Sorry, that would be there in the separate path, should be. So let me go back to the DMS again, right? And then you have the, okay, so let's wait for this one to get complete. Then basically what happens is, So once this replication completes, we should expect, another file like the CSV should be there here. Okay, so I will just go back this one. Folders S3 public, right? You see in the employees, it's still loading. Basically, it is still ongoing. Okay, so maybe let's explore this one. Yeah. Okay, so let me do some changes again into this file. Or we could add some changes. Okay, maybe we'll add into this table, and we'll see how does it behaves. For example, in this bucket, in this one, we will make the changes to 2, 2, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then I will execute this. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm just I want to show that the changes are getting replicated across the tables. Okay, our CDC is working. That's what I want to see. Okay, we'll just run it. So we made the table 2 as well changes. Then we will add the table 3 as well. Let's see. Okay, if it is exporting. Right, table 3 also modified, and we modify the table 4 as well. Right, so I'm modifying the table 4 now. Okay. Here's the table 4. Then here, I'm just make small changes in the files, in the values, right? So this is the values, and this one, then this one, and then this one. Okay, so let me make some changes here and here. So basically, we have added some changes. Let's see if that is replicating across the folder structure. Okay, for that case, I need to go back. Basically it takes times. Maybe it will take something like, this process, this CDC capture process happens periodically. Okay, so if not now, it will take some time and it will upload. Okay, if I go back, you see here it is happening. Yeah, congratulations. Okay, basically it is working, right? Earlier we had only one file. Now you have the change detected. Okay, so now since we did some changes in this file, for example in this table, if I go back to the table, right? This one, so this is the table we made changes, and it has identified already. Okay, so if I do select all, select star from this table, right? So we added some rows. Okay, we added one extra row, right? That is value 2 should be replicated. Okay, and if you see here, earlier it was only one file, that is load 000 CSV1, and after that, just now you see by timing, right? So it is maintaining some naming convention. Okay, and it is creating a file. I expect this file has to be there across other folders as well. We saw one, we go to the 2, you see it is also uploaded, right? And I go to the employee as well. So okay, here you go, right? So everything is, every table's changes are being replicated now, right? So basically you might have the doubts. Okay, so why didn't identify when I created a task? Maybe, if you are a technical guy, you should understand it. The once we set up a connectivity, so once we actually, the database migration task creation is nothing but, you are actually making the connection. Okay, once you made the connection, then only this will become ongoing task. Okay, so previous to that, what happened on the table, it will not identify. From this particular point of time, in the sense, once this pipeline or once this database migration task is configured, then only from that point of time, whatever the changes happens in the database will be exported directly into the S3 bucket. Okay, that's a very, very important point. Yeah. Now, I have downloaded this file. I will go to the file and I will show you, and that would conclude my demo, right? I will just open this file. So basically, let's see, what does it contains. If you see here, right? So I have uploaded the, some files. Okay, if you see here, right? So basically, these are the, values it is being capturing in this one. So if I go down, right? So yeah, so whatever the changes that we are making into the row, and that is being uploaded into the table. If we go to the employees, okay, so let me see into the employees. I'll go back to the employees and then we will conclude this demo. Okay, so basically, DMS is working. DMS is actually capturing the changes in our infrastructure. Okay, changes in your table. Yeah. All right, so I will just select this one, right? And here you go, right? So there are, so basically, since this is a CSV, that's the reason some trimming is happening, but actually values are being captured. Yeah. All right. So with that note, I have successfully shown you the things to be shown in this video, I will go back to my slide again, right? So this is my slide, okay? And so this is the, I can say this is a part 1 of my video. Then in the next part, I'm going to show you, how we can load this same data even to the, even to the, to the RDS as well. Okay, so that's the main aim of this demo. Yeah. Finally, lastly, a kind request: please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. So with that note, thank you. Thanks a lot, and see you in the next video.